What's going on, guys? Welcome into another tips and tricks video for Anno 1800. In this one, we are going to take a look at some of the things that you can use in the statistics screen to help you manage your city a little bit better, and some things you might not know that might make your life just a little bit easier. So with that, let's pop over to the statistics screen and take a look at a few things that might help you out with managing your metropolises in Anno 1800. Now, the production tab of the statistics screen is probably the most important tab of any menu in this entire game. It tells you everything you need to know about your consumption and your supply on an island. It tells you everything you have to know about how much your people need per minute and how much you are producing per minute. So we can see right here with my potatoes, I have a demand of 4 and a supply of 8. Now, those numbers are your per minute production and consumption. So I have a current demand or consumption of 4 per minute and a supply or production of 8 per minute. We click on the potatoes, we can see right here where those things are coming from. I have one potato farm working at 300%, and then I have one vineyard working at 490%. Everything over here will tell you exactly what these things are. This is the total productivity, 490. The base productivity is 100. The modifiers are 390. And there's a handy little button right here you can click and you can go directly to that building to see exactly what it's doing. So these are what those numbers mean. It is a per minute calculation. Now, the way the numbers are presented can be a little off-putting for some people. They are either rounded up or rounded down, depending on where they're at, basically. So as you can see right here, we have a demand of 4. However, the bar, this blue bar right here, is actually down here. It's a little lower than half. So technically, I have a demand of about 3.45. Roughly about 3.45. However, it rounds it up to 4 in terms of the number right here. The game does not show fractional amounts, okay? So this right here, even though the demand is a little under 3.5, it shows 4. But if we look at something like our grain, the grain shows 0. However, the bar is a little under, maybe about 0.4, 0.35, maybe 0.4, somewhere right around that figure right there. So it doesn't show 1, it shows 0. It's just a really weird way that it shows that. So how can you deal with this? Well, basically, don't worry about the numbers. Pay attention to the bar, okay? Pay attention to the bar, not the numbers. The numbers can throw you off a little bit. The bars tell the truth at all times. The bars will always give you the exact amount. If you were to look at the numbers right here, it shows that you have a demand of 4 and a supply of 4. However, our supply is slightly under in terms of the bars. So that means I'm actually underproducing on my fish. However, since the rounding thing, it shows that you're fine. And you would think by the numbers you're fine, but you're not. Always trust the bars, never trust the numbers. That's my biggest piece of advice to get you into this production statistics screen right here and teach you how to utilize the information shown. So how do you use this information to understand how many buildings you need? That's the big thing a lot of people don't understand, is how to use this information to know how many buildings you need. Well, let's take a look at something simple like potatoes. I have a supply right now of 8 tons per minute of potatoes. Now, let's say I had a demand of 10, so I was underproducing potatoes, okay? All I would have to do is go and look at my potatoes, and I can see that they produce every 30 seconds. So that's 2 more tons per minute. If I build a potato farm here, we build the fields around it, we go back, now it's at 10. So now I'm producing 10 tons per minute because I have increased my production by 2 tons per minute. Pretty easy. Now let's take a look at something that kind of throws people off early on, and that's maybe something like beer, since it's a little bit different. If we toss down a brewery right here, we can see that we have a demand for 1 ton of hops per minute. Just the one from this one brewery. If I place down a single hops farm and get some hops fields around it, you'll see that it's not exactly 1 yet. We're still not quite there. just from the one. And that is because this produces slower than 1 minute. It's 1.5 minutes. If I put down another hops farm, now we're up a little over. So now we are slightly overproducing from 2 hops farms, but we have a little left over. So we could almost supply another brewery. If I put down another brewery, then it actually starts evening out a little bit more. And we see that we need a little more hops, and we build another hop farm. And now it has evened out. So it took 3 hop farms for 2 breweries to fill this right here up. And that's all you have to do. If you're unsure of the ratios, just start building the buildings until these right here are evened out, or your supply is greater than your demand for what you currently need. That's all you have to do. It's that simple. No calculators needed, no apps needed. It's simple to do straight from this screen. One other very important thing about this production tab is that the values you see take into account items and specialists that might be producing these goods. For example, I have a bicycle factory that has a specialist on it that is giving me pocket watches, as well as a jeweler's that is also giving me pocket watches. So those specialists are being taken into account for the supply. However, Docklands and passive trade from neutral traders is not taken into account because it's not an actual production. It's a trade, not a production. So I have 0 supply of coffee. However, I am bringing coffee in from Docklands, and I can see that in the storage tab of the statistics screen if I go under passive trade right here. You have to click on all goods to be able to see all of that. And we see Captain Tobias here. He is bringing in 1,798 tons of coffee. So passive trade, that is trade routes from the neutral traders or any AI, and Docklands are not included in the production tab. You have to figure that out a different way. And that's a good segue into the storage tab right here real quick. Under the storage tab, I really just want to touch on this passive trade tab right here. Now, the trade routes tab has a lot of good information, and I already have a video about this trade routes tab and how you can utilize it for yourself. Be sure to check out that video. It is going to be linked down in the comments below. So for the passive trade tab, the really important thing right here, and this only pertains to Docklands DLC. If you do not have Docklands DLC, you can skip ahead to the next section. So under here, you can see when Tobias is coming around. We can see that he's coming around roughly every 28 minutes, give or take. About every 28 minutes or so is when he is coming around and dropping off his goods. Now, how is this super useful for you? Well, one, it tells you how much time you need to calculate into your overproduction of whatever it is you are exporting to make sure you have enough. Other thing is you can see how much he is taking away. So he's taking away 992 advanced weapons, 1,043 penny farthings, and 5 steam carriages. I can use that right there, and I can divide that number by the time that it takes him to come around. So 992 divided by 28 is 35, or 35.4. We need to round that up to 36. We go into our production tab right here. We take a look at intermediate products. Construction materials. We can see that I am producing 43 per minute. So I have more than enough advanced weapons being produced to cover how much he is picking up. So use this screen right here to your advantage with Docklands. Double check how much he is picking up. Make sure that that number is what you have in overproduction, that you can meet the demands of he's picking up. One thing I like to do is once I know that I have a secure amount of overproduction, especially of things like advanced weapons or bicycles or something, is I go ahead and I just max out the amount equal to my storage capacity for the island or more. You can type in 9,999 if all you care. And type that number in, and all he's going to do is deliver however much it takes to refill your stock. So it took 329 canned food for my stock to cap back out to maximum, even though I'm telling it to import 3,000. He's only bringing in 329. So once you know that you have more than enough storage and you have more than enough goods being produced to meet your export demands, go ahead, max everything out, and then see what it takes for it to cap it all out, and then keep it running to just refill what's being used, and then use those numbers that he's taking away from your stock as your export, and use that to figure out exactly how much you need to be producing. So that's a good way to go about doing it. I would not suggest doing that until the late game, though, once you have a healthy amount of production going on and you can take the hit to all of these goods being taken out of your inventory, and it won't hurt you in the long run. The Finance tab is where you can see all sorts of awesome information about how your expenses and income for your entire trade empire or in each individual island is being utilized. One thing that I think is very useful that a lot of people don't know about is skyscraper maintenance. I see this all the time. How do I know how many skyscrapers I have of different levels? Easy. Click on all islands, or if you only have skyscrapers on one island, you can go to that one island as well. Click on skyscraper maintenance, and it will tell you how many skyscrapers of each level that you have. This is a great way to know if you have enough level 5 skyscrapers to build the Skyline Tower. So use that right there, see where your skyscrapers are at and what their levels are, and use that to determine how many more you might need to upgrade. Or if you're trying to find like a pesky level 1 or level 2 that you need to get rid of somewhere, you can use this right here to find that really, really easy. There's all sorts of other stuff you can use this for to find different buildings or see where all of your expenses are coming from. So be sure to use the Finance tab. It's very helpful, very useful. I check it often just to see where I'm at on everything. Now, has this ever happened to you? You see that you have 11 farmers, or 10 farmers if you have a standard farmer house. You know you've got a farmer house somewhere on the island. You cannot, for the life of you, figure out where that stupid farmer house is. And you've got a massive city, and looking for it is a pain in the ass. All right, it's easy. Global population, or if you're already in the stats screen, just click on population. Click on the farmer right over here, and you can jump to their house. Boom, there he is right there, hiding out on the river, and I can get him upgraded and get rid of those nasty farmers on my island. It's a great little just short trick that a lot of people don't know about in order to find houses that are hiding out, and you're trying to find like those last couple of farmer houses that you've missed somehow and you don't know where they're at. You want to get rid of them. It's a great way to find those. You also can see your maximum amount of population per residential tier, and this will give you an idea of how much more population you can support on your island if it's not maxed out. So this is a good way to kind of determine where you're at in terms of, am I achieving the maximum amount of population that I possibly could have for this island? Great little tools right there. Another quick little thing you can do is you can scroll down through each individual house and see all the different buffs that they have, how much happiness they have, how much population they have, and what their average amount of supply is. So great little tools right here for giving a quick glance to find different things you might be looking for amongst your thousands of homes on your islands. Last but not least is my favorite tab, probably the Items tab. So many people still don't understand the Items tab. It's so useful, guys. So useful. You can use this to look for any item in the game. If you click Unknown, click All Islands, or if you're looking on a specific island, click that island as well. Click on that and you can see all the different items. And if you own them, they will be highlighted. And if you don't own them, they will be grayed out. If you want to know where an item comes from, click on it and then click Item Source, and it will tell you. This one right here, I can get it from random quests from shepherds or elders, or I can research it at the Institute. Something like this guy right here, Hans Eichendorf. I can get him from the Institute, of course. I can get him from 1, 2, or 3-star rescue missions. Investors, Eli Bleakworth or Madame Kahina can give him as a quest reward, or I can get him from different levels of city attractiveness, or from Elise the Nose Bouquet's special visitor pool. So there are lots of ways to find lots of different items in the game and see how you can get those. So many people, even to this day, are always asking, hey, where do I get this specialist? Hey, I don't know how to get this item. It's right here in the game. It tells you. All you've got to do is just pull it up and look. Especially stuff like this right here, legendary museum sets. You can find them in the World's Fair, and it tells you what you need to run. I need to run a sumptuous archaeological exhibition. Now, there is one caveat to this. It doesn't tell you which chest to get it from. Now, you can look at the names of the chests and generally guess, but if you don't want to guess, go to the wiki and type in World's Fair rewards, and there's a page for that, and it lists all the chests and what they can contain, and you can find them there if you want to do World's Fairs in order to get items and stuff like that for your museums and stuff, or your trade unions, town halls, and all those different kinds of things. And that's it for me, guys. Just a few tips and tricks to help you with the statistics screen and understand some of the information you're seeing there and how you can make it work for you in managing your cities in Anno 1800. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care.